Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm starting a little reading vlog for reading some Norwegian books. I think, I'm unsure if I'm gonna still title this My Curtain is Moving because it just hates me. I'm considering if I'm still gonna title this Reading Norwegian Books No One Cares About. I feel like it's kind of rude because obviously a lot of people care about these books. They are newer releases this time around. Last time it was like all the releases, and the time before that was also new releases. I got a hold of so many because I work in a bookstore, and I was like, oh, let's do another theme vlog so I actually know what these books are about. And the reason I say no one cares about them is because I think most of my audience is not Norwegian. Most of these books you can't read unless you're Norwegian, but I still want to make a reading vlog talking about them for no reason at all, because content, I like to talk about my reading, and it's kind of themed, and you know what I mean. But I'm not saying that people don't actually care about these books. They definitely do, deeply. But yeah, I got a hold of way too many Norwegian books, and I was like, well, let's read them. And the thing is that I just don't think I like Norwegian literature. I like a few of them. Some are really great, really great. I have some in mind that I absolutely adore. But most of the time, I'm like, I don't think this book is for me. I'm not saying the books are bad. I'm just saying that the style they're written in, the kind of things that are trending in Norway, is stuff that I don't really care that much for. Which is fair to say. Like, I don't need to like everything in a book. In a book trend, the trends that go around in current Norwegian literature is very different from like other types of literature I read, obviously. So it's hard to compare, hard to like express exactly my feelings, I guess. But I will try. I already read the first book for this, which ended up being Tid by Maja Lunde. This one was released this fall, and it's the same author as like the Klima Quartet, which I read the first book of many years ago, and then actually was the rest of the series last month, which was like picked up a series I need to finish. She's also written many other like really widely known books in Norwegian. This is a standalone as far as I know, and it is set in this world where people stop dying. So, Sight by Neil Schusterman, you all. Not really. But because of this, everything stops. It's not like people don't die. It's like that Torchwood episodes where like everyone just stopped dying, but they're still alive even like when they have terrible damages. But they don't die. And other things like growth stops in other ways. Like children don't like, I was gonna say, grow anymore, develop anymore. A person who was pregnant, her baby doesn't grow anymore. And then like a person who is sick, she has a tumor, that tumor like stop growing. So everything in society just kind of stops up. And they just call it this condition. And they kind of just they talk about it without talking about it. They go around, I think, like very what's called around the circle without like talking about it directly. It was really weird choice for me. I wanted more a direct talk. But then instead we have all these different characters that I honestly didn't care about. And then they all met this new condition differently. There's development, there's weird stuff happening, like characters react really differently and react really weirdly. Another character kind of had like a development in like the opposite direction, like because everything stopped growing. But I think plants and stuff were still growing. It was just humans that didn't, if I remember correctly. And he always like cared about growing plants, but then suddenly that wasn't his thing anymore. And I was like, okay, maybe he grew as a person instead. So there was like these kind of reflections in the book that I guess people enjoy. And I was like, okay. I feel like the concept is cool, but the characters were there was too many characters. I didn't care about all these people. I struggled having a overview them in general. Look at this short book. I think we had 4 point of views. 5? I honestly don't remember. I wish we just focused on like 2, 3 more. And I wish like this case was talking about more like the consequences, but it was very like vague thing that was happening. I didn't fully understand like how it functioned because it was never explained properly. But that's just the world builder in me from like all the other stuff I read. I feel like it's supposed to be like kind of a book commenting on like life and growth and etc. And that dying is big as big part of life as living is. It's one thing that like that everyone will experience. Like everyone will have different experiences, but there's one thing that is guaranteed that everyone in the whole world will experience one day when they are born is dying. And if you remove that, it's can be an interesting conversation to have. Like Skype, I really enjoyed the conversations in that one. But here I was just like, okay. So like I felt very overwhelmed. I didn't really feel what to say connected to the story or like anything really. But I feel like also this could have been like a addition to the Claymore Quartet in a way, like how it talks about life and people, and like I feel like it could have been set in our world, but it's not about climate change. It's about people and living, I guess. So it's a bit different themes, maybe. I mean, those were obviously about people and living as well, but you get what I mean. That's my review. I feel like it tried to do stuff, and I feel like it was semi-successful at some of it. But overall, I'm sitting here being like, no, I wanted more from everything, more about this condition, more characters I actually cared about. But the concept is interesting, and it's definitely an interesting book. But not a new favorite. I like her other series more, but an interesting read. I would give it like a 3, maybe a 3. Star endings are hard, but yeah, that's what I got from my first book for this blog, which is in very soon, where I read more Norwegian books that no one cares about. Okay, hello. It has been a few days and I read the next installment in this vlog. So I read like the most hyped Norwegian book of the year, of the century, not the century, but a year. One of them, the most, I was gonna say, book that's gonna be under the Christmas tree this year, which is Da vi var yngre by Oliver Lawrensky. This one can be translated to When We Were Younger. I met the guy. He was one of the nicest, sweetest authors I have ever met. He was so nice, which made me buy the book. Honestly, seen it around. I consider reading it, but yeah, I got it. I got it signed. My receipt is still here. I like to keep the receipts lately because I like to see how much I paid and when I bought it. But either way, here's a signature from me. It says, "To Sandra, hope you like the book." Oliver Lawrensky. He was such a sweet guy. And one of the things that's taught most about this book is that he was only 19 when he wrote it. I think he's 20 now. But obviously, he didn't write it now. He wrote it a while ago for it to be published. And it's gotten so much praise. Like, everyone is giving it all the stars. It won the like bookseller prize here in Norway. And it's like seriously one of like the most hyped books ever. It's gotten like 6 everywhere. And I was very curious about it. It follows, what was the main character's name? Isak. I don't remember our main character's name. But it's not really that important because while it is fiction, it is basically based on Oliver's life. And it is from like the backtracks in Oslo, where like we are in like a drug culture. We are a bit of a gang culture is the right word, but it's like other to do with drugs and like, I was gonna say being on the streets and being like in that certain environment. And it's about our main character like struggling with that, having different like friends there, and like them going through many different things. And what's also unique about it is that it's written in, and this is not an expression that I made, but I've seen people call it like kebab Norwegian, which I feel like calling it that in itself, I don't know how I like that description, but I didn't choose this, but I'm just like, what a weird way to describe a kind of Norwegian dialect. So it has like different words where they like slang that you use, which can be a bit different and difficult to understand, even though I am Norwegian, obviously, and like I know Norwegian. But they even have like a word list in the end, so you can search up like the different words if you were confused of what the heck they were saying. It would never fall me in to call dabse to have sex with someone. Honestly, would never fall me in. So it's a different like slang in it, and the book is written like, I was gonna say like poems, like it's very short. Some of them have obviously more text, I hear, but like the chapters are very short, and every chapter feels like its own installments. It's like, I felt like it was more of a poetry collection than anything else, especially because of the language, how short each section is, while at the same time you see these different glimpses into their lives, but it is also like a story that comes together. And I feel like it is very interesting language, a very interesting way to tell a story. But if I think about the fiction, I think about the genre, I think about what happened, and I think about a book that I would enjoy without having all the other things I just talked about in mind, I personally like didn't love it. I thought about the story, and for me, it's not really that interesting, which I feel really bad to say because this is a person's life. But obviously, that's like, you can say that about every book. Like, authors take things from themselves into the book, but I feel like this one is more personal than maybe other fiction books would be. I guess they have to call it fiction as well to like not admit to certain things that you shouldn't admit to. For me, if you take away like the language, which I personally like didn't even love, I was just like, I get it's supposed to be poetic in a way, like that way he uses language people really, really love. But I just I have this pet peeve where I hate it when people write in dialect. Like in general, people in Norway write in dialect. It's a whole thing. And I hate it. I think it's so annoying because I'm like, why can't you just write the grammatically correct words? I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. And it makes me like misunderstand sometimes what they're saying because they're different words for different things. And obviously that's just a me thing. I'm not saying that every sentence needs to be grammatically correct, but it's like their own words. And that already annoys me in everyday life. And then I had to read a whole book with it. And I know like that's like the main part of the thing that people like about the book is the way he uses language. And I'm very impressed that he managed to do this. And I'm not saying it's a bad book. I'm just saying that this is not a book for me. And honestly, I feel like lately, especially when working in a bookstore, I picked up so many different Norwegian books thinking that I would like them because they've gotten so hyped and all that. I think, oh my god, of course I'm gonna like it because everyone is talking about it. And I just realized that Norwegian books in general, the genre and what is trending in Norway is not things that I like in books. So, and I keep reading them and I'm just like, this gives me nothing. So I feel like it's a bit of my own fault as well because I also know that maybe this is not for me, but it doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to read it, you know. But I really thought that I would like it. Everyone said that it was so touching and they were crying and I was just like, oh my god, it's over soon. Because honestly, I didn't care about the story. The whole story is basically about this dude taking and selling drugs. Maybe generalize the whole story a bit, but also like just like, you know, in that environment. And it's just not a story that appeals to me. I didn't really feel for the characters. And because of the way it was written for me, it made me feel even more distant to the story because I was trying to like analyze like what does these words mean because the dialect. And then also every time that we are connected in a scene, we switch scenes to another point in time and we switch back and forth. And it's not like a ongoing like stories, like these snippets. And like while they hang together, we don't get like a full scene playing out. And because of that, I just felt very disconnected to everything that was happening. That's just me though. Like, I know most people love this, but it's just how I felt. And I couldn't feel myself like connecting with the story. I didn't really like care for the story, but if I care about the characters, I would care more, you know? And overall, I just felt like very like, that was it. This is the most hype book in the world. And I didn't love it. I'm not saying I hated it or anything like that, like chill. I'm really glad that no one cares about my reviews online because it would break my heart if Oliver ever saw this because he was the nicest guy and I wanted to give his book 5 stars. But for me, it ended up like on a 3. I liked it. I liked parts of it, but I also wanted so much more from it. And overall, I think it's the genre, the way the language was used made me disconnect from the story. And just the story itself wasn't as engaging. Like, it's not a story that I would care for. That's another thing I would just want to note is that like the N-word was used in this. And I don't know how it is in like the environment that people live in, like where that is okay. But I was just very put off by it. I was like, why? But I feel like saying that out loud, someone will nitpick on me and be like, yeah, but it's la 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 because of la 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 la. And I'm just like, yeah, but it didn't need to be in the book. Just saying. So yeah, I didn't really get that part. But that was just me. That was also very off-putting. I think about these stuff a lot. But either way, yeah, that's what I got. So, and then I went a 3 for me. And honestly, I just don't think I like Norwegian stuff. Especially what's trending. I obviously read Norwegian stuff I really enjoy. But this was like the type of literature that where I feel like I would sit in Norwegian class and try to analyze and that would not make me like it more. I sound very negative, but I feel like I need to be honest, you know. This was a really long review. That's what I got, and you should see me soon for more Norwegian books that no one cares about. Woohoo! So hello! After 100 years, I am continuing with the next book for this vlog. Where did I put it? It's right here. This was one I had decided on last fall, and I just haven't gotten it yet. And this is Iltana Lantunge by New Deep. This is a Norwegian author whose family is from Vietnam. And then I think she writes about like her growing up in Norway, her growing up with the like, I was gonna say abuse, but also like coming to this country, etc. It is kind of based on her life, but it is like a fiction novel. And she was there speaking at this meeting that I was out with the publisher. I got my book signed, which I want to show off. She was very nice. I didn't even know about the book until I got there, and I was just like fangirling because like writing about, you know, Asian experiences in Norway is something that obviously sits very relatable to me, and she was just super nice. So yeah, I'm gonna read this I think today. I think it's only like 200 pages. Yes. Do I know if it will be easy to read? Absolutely no idea. And do I know if like, I was gonna say how much is based on real life or not, but we shall see how it goes. So I'm hoping for a touching read. I'm hoping I really will enjoy. I'll let you know very soon. Okay, so yesterday I did finish Iltana Lantunge, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was such a stunning, beautiful book. It did follow Anne, or New, who with her family, when they were like 11 kids, came over to Norway from Vietnam, and how they grew up poor, but then growing themselves upwards with being 11 kids, with their parents punishing them verbally and physically, but also with love. And it sounds really weird, the sentence, but with love and raising them. And then her adult life, where her older brother, the oldest one of all of them, the elder one, the oldest one, passes away, and dealing with that loss. I feel like the book really changed from this like narrative style of like going to childhood memories to more like almost moment for moment memories. So diaries may be the wrong word, but like much more details, like taking the train, taking the plane, from going from snippets to actually stretching out the days. So it was a really interesting shift in the book. It didn't make it bad, it just made it very interesting to be able to carry these two narratives. They're very, very different. But honestly, so impressed. You feel so much for these characters. I literally almost cried. But I guess it also hits deeper because you know it's based on real events. Everything here is real and for what people remember. And it's making me wonder, like, how's the family now? How are they doing? I want more books about his family. Sometimes I get, like, I was going to say, triggered into wanting a big family and many kids. Because, like, I sometimes just love everyone collecting. Like, they had, like, 11 kids altogether. They ended up with, like, 25 grandkids or something. And it made me be like, oh my God, to have such a big family and coziness and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it's super, super stressful. I never actually would want that. I don't want any kids, but I never actually would want that because it seems super stressful. Just think about buying birthday presents. Oh my God. But I just like, sometimes I'm like, I like the memory of it, the feeling of it, but I don't actually want it. But yeah, this book made me think of that. And it was a really interesting book to read, obviously, about the perspective as growing up as Asian in Norway in different times, and also, not that it's such great times now, but you get what I mean. But it was just a very, very good book. Honestly, I was unsure if I would like it, but it was so solid. I'm so glad that it ended up in my hands because I went to this like publisher meeting thingy, and honestly would recommend highly. It was really well written. It was a really good story. So yeah, now I'm left with that, and now I will eventually continue this vlog. I think I ended up rating it like really strong 4, could go to 4.5, but not completely 5, but still just super solid and very, very happy. I enjoyed it so much. I do actually know this time. I just had forgotten for a period what books I'm reading next. I just need to fit them in somewhere. So yeah, see you at that point then. Hello. I honestly don't know how long it's been since I updated this vlog, but I had a plan for the Norwegian books I was going to read for it, and that plan has not been succeeding. But I have now read another Norwegian book I thought would fit for this, which was Terapeutens Jul or The Therapist's Christmas by Linda Sandbeck. This person who wrote this book came as a guest lecturer for my study, and then I was curious about the book that was coming. So I borrowed it at the library and I'm about to return it. So I thought we could talk about it now. Honestly, it was a bit like confusing, and I have liked a lot of different Norwegian literature this year, different kinds, where like it's a bit chaotic, or like chaotic may be the wrong word, but like about a life, just ordinary fiction, and I haven't been enjoying some, not necessarily Norwegian, but like in Norwegian at least then, like originally Swedish or Danish or something. But this one I did not fall that great behind on. I thought it was very confusing. She's struggling a lot, like her mother is in the hospital and she's struggling like with the children, and her mom was like in a children's home when she was a kid and is like still struggling with that. It's about like them celebrating Christmas soon, but I just felt like it was kind of everywhere and I didn't really enjoy myself that much. I thought it would have, I don't know, some points to it, but it just felt a bit pointless to me, which is maybe just my whole life. But like overall, didn't fall for it that much, but thought I would quickly like mention it here because it is a lesser known Norwegian book compared to like the others I know I read earlier for this vlog, where like the top Norwegian books coming, while this is more like low key. So I thought that would be interesting to have, but I'm gonna go and return it now. I read it. I'm actually reading another Norwegian book later today, which is like big and hyped, so it will be interesting to see how that compares or something. Yay. So I need to wrap up some vlogs here because I have so many vlogs ongoing that I haven't touched for like a year, and then I got a new camera today, so I need to wrap up the vlogs that I filmed with this camera. Hello. So I just read another Norwegian book. Honestly, I think that this vlog is done, but I need to look through the footage. But I did read a Dag Solstad book, which doesn't have a cover, but it belongs to the library. And Dag Solstad just died this spring, and a lot of people started to read his books more because he died. That is normal to happen. And I tried out one that I borrowed at the library. This just follows a like high school teacher, and then he basically has a breakdown of work, and then he thinks about his life, and I'm like also thinks about like how he basically took his best friend's wife that left them, but like not like it wasn't even like his fault in a way. I don't even know. And then like it's just like, I don't know, like reflections in his life, etc. But this is another case where I like don't really understand fiction in general. Maybe like I just don't like fiction that much, like not even contemporary fiction, because it's like 1994. I guess it's not contemporary anymore in the same way. It's more just like because it's just like rambles about a life, and I feel like some fiction I do really enjoy, but this kind of fiction is just very much like, what was the point? And I feel like if you, for example, read it in school, you can like analyze it and talk about it and be like, oh my god, it means this and this and this, and this reflected this, and like then you feel like you have maybe learned a lot or something. I don't even know. But for me, it's just like, what was the point? What was the point of me reading this? And it's like, it's not like I disliked it. It was funny at times, etc. But for me, it was just like, what a random dude just ranting a bit. And I'm just like, that's fine. And I get that it can be like funny and interesting, because I have read fiction books where that happens and it is funny and interesting. But for me, for this one, I was just like, I don't really care. But I give it like a 3 because I did find it enjoyable at parts. And that was a great review. But I did read that now that I borrowed in the library from that dude that died. And then I want to read Morgen og Kveld by Jon Fosse, who won the Nobel's Prize of Literature in 2023. So everyone started to read his books. I never read one, and he's Norwegian obviously, so I'm going to try one. Morgen og Kveld means night and day, or morning and night, I realized. And I don't think I will enjoy it, actually. I don't think I will like it, but I will try one, and it's like 120 pages, so I shall survive it, and I will get back to you, and that will, I think, be the last book for this vlog. Not the one I planned for the video, but the last one for this vlog. But here we are. Let's go. So I did read and finish Morning and Night. It basically follows these two different people that it's called the same. One dies and one gets born. But like the language was very like up in the air, and I was just like, what is going on? As I predicted kind of that I would feel. I feel like there was some beauty in it, and there's some nice lyrical language probably in there. But also probably not for me, sadly. So yeah, I'm feeling totally fine about the whole thing. Because like, it's not like I disliked it. I feel like maybe it's more that I didn't understand it. And the way it's written and the way the story is told is not for me, as I just said. And now I feel like I can add as well. But I need to actually add it through whatever I said here. So see you for that. Hello. So honestly, I'm a bit mad at myself for several reasons. First of all, I started this vlog in December 2023, and I was going to read new releases, which I did at the time. Then the third book, the one Iltanda One Tunge, I did have as a new release like from the fall, but I read it in the spring. And then for some reason, it went a whole year before I read the next books. And those weren't new releases. They were just some random Norwegian books I picked up. And you were wondering, why didn't I just read the ones I planned? Well, I'm asking myself the same question. Past Sandra, I am not responsible for her. I don't know what she was doing. I don't know what she was doing. But at the point, even if I read in, because we moved to May 2025, and even if I read the new releases I was planning in 2023, they wouldn't have been new releases anymore. It would have been 2 years later. I have other new releases that I am now doing in the next Norwegian vlog, which I'm not hoping to use 2 years on, which is exciting and all that. But I ruined my own theme for my vlog. I spent 2 years on it. One of the reasons I spent so long on it is because I was doing a library vlog, and that's where I started to get a lot of Norwegian books in, I think. So that one was out like ages ago. I did like a library vlog. This vlog with Animal in my library card is empty, so I feel like that affected the progress in this one. And then also, as we saw, this has been done for like 3 months, and here we are finishing it up now. So I don't know what is wrong, but I still wanted to post it. I think that my reviews for the first 2 books were the best, and I think that it was ideally a good idea at first to do a Norwegian new release vlog, but the one I'm doing now is for even more new releases for Norwegian books. So apparently I like the series. I'm just bad at completing vlogs lately, but I am catching up, and I still hope you enjoyed some reviews of these. I'd literally forgotten what I said for these, so it was actually interesting for me as well to hear my like more elaborate thoughts. The last 2 was definitely more like written in a way that is not a genre for me. The first 3 are more, I would say, modern in their tones, or the last 2 feels like I was reading classical literature, but both of them did come out a while ago. So it kind of makes sense. I guess that is how I felt. But I don't really have anything more for this vlog. We read a couple of books. We are happy. Oh, I also forgotten I read the one like about Christmas. That one was also here. What is going on? Either way, it was a bit of a mess. We love to see it. I still hope you enjoyed. Leave a Norwegian flag down below if you enjoyed this. If you see me soon in a new one, thank you so much for watching. Watching through a vlog that has partly footage from a billion years ago, but I still hope it was a good time. Bye!